Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nurul Indah Dalillah, and today I would like to present about the negotiating local and K-pop identity, and the case is of multicultural students as K-pop fans. So the first is today's presentation, the outline. The first, I would like to explain about the introduction, literature review, and then third is research methods, and then findings, discussion, and the last is conclusion. So now we start with the introduction. Nowadays, the growing popularity of K-pop in Indonesia is increasing. The spread of Korean culture is so rapid so that it could be categorized as a phenomenon. It can be seen from the fandom called K-popers, declared to build their own community. The fandom is mostly exposed to Korean culture as the mechanism of ideas, actions, and results of human work of people lives which are made to belong to humans through learning. As it is a compilation of those elements, there will be changes in daily behavior as Indonesian because of K-pop. Fandom will be influenced by the culture exposed to them. Thus, it can be said that the influence of Korean culture to Indonesian K-pop fans, community members is unavoidable as a result of culture contact. In portraying how Korean culture affects K-pop fandom, community members in Indonesia, there have been some recent studies about the influences of K-pop culture in Indonesia. For example, like Simbar Journal in 2016, on his journal say that various products ranging from Korean dramas, songs, lifestyles to industrial products began to affect the lives of people in various parts of the world. Korean culture is developing very rapidly and growing and is accepted by the public to produce the phenomenon of K-pop trends, including Indonesia. Even now, K-pop culture or Korean culture has been able to influence the native culture of adolescents in Indonesia, not only have the music taste, but it has been impact on lifestyles that the fans are more likely to follow. For example, like their lifestyle and how the idol dress is as they follow. And then they include film consumptions, fashion, music, and Korean television programs. It can be seen, for example, from some K-pop fans who prefer to dress in the style of Korean artists. In addition, there is also some architecture of buildings, supermarkets, and places to eat nuances Korean culture, which become evidence of how Korean culture affects the local culture. And then next is, however, none of the studies portrayed the process of negotiating two different cultures among Indonesian students, especially students who came from different ethnic background in Indonesia. This research is intended to explore the students' perspective towards negotiating local and K-pop identity as multicultural students. So in this um, research, I would like to answer the research questions, which are the first is what cultural changes do students experience in becoming K-pop fans, and second is how do students respond to cultural changes in becoming K-pop fans, and the last is how do students maintain their own culture as K-pop fans. The next is the literature review. In literature review, there are two parts that I will to explain. Is the first is theoretical framework, and then the second is empirical theories. So the first is the definition about K-pop. It can be interpreted as Korean pop or music that has electronic, hip-hop, pop, rock, and R&B genres collaborated in Korean music. Soft Korean pop appears in a mix of Western Korean styles with unique musicality, creating impressive sound quality, stunning cinematic K-pop music videos, and easy to hear lyrics performed by artists who love aesthetics. K-pop can motivate non-Korean listeners to enjoy this genre of music even with language barriers. They still listen to it even though they do not understand Korean. K-pop fans can be see a mix of English, Korean lyrics to be put together in a song. Um, like the research from Leung in 2012, page 84, he said that K-pop utilize the English language in varied ways as well, whether to insert youthful rebellion or challenge tradition, while at the same time maintaining traditional values in the Korean lyrics. The lyric is much easier to understand rather than having Korean lyric completely. This is one of South Korean strategies in spreading Korean influence through music to the world. In general, K-pop also be done through unique and varied choreography so that it can be synchronized with the music. In the world of K-pop not only offers entertainment products but also affects lifestyles such as cultural habits, tastes, ways of life, and new language. In Indonesia, some studies have been previously conducted to investigate K-pop phenomenon. One of the example is a study done by Riani in 2019. Her study did not only discuss K-pop that affects people's life, but especially teenagers. Korean culture is also developing very rapidly in Indonesia. And one major findings of her study was some groups who were found to be more proud if they wore Korean style attire. In addition, they were found to be in favor of Korean food, as shown by their frequent visit of some Korean food stalls or restaurants. Another study was conducted by Touhami and Al-Haq in 2017, who explored the case of language changes that occurred in Algeria. This study investigated the main aspects of the influence and reason behind the global change. The findings of the study showed that 98.5% of Algerian K-pop fans use several words in Korean in daily conversation. Also, they even learn Korean Hangul letters to understand the lyric of K-pop songs. As a whole, their research proved that the music can influence behavior and communication, especially language. And the next is the research methods. In this study, use qualitative methods with the interview questions as an instrument to find the perception of K-pop culture influence Indonesian K-pop fans. And the interview was conducted via WhatsApp with the researcher informed about the purpose of the interview and the allocation of time for the interview. The questionnaire was adapted from a study entitled The Influence of Korean Wave on the Language of International Fans, the case study of Algerian fans by Touhami and Al-Haq in 2017, and also to require the participant, the researcher invited, I am as the researcher, I invited 3 participants from international relations students at Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta who were interested in K-pop, I previously made an agreement to conduct online interview because of the pandemic. So that's why I do with my friends that they are as K-pop fans to know about their cultural changes. A semi-structured interview was conducted in English with participants. The interview is carried out for 45 until 60 minutes to identify the data. The participant in each interview will be recorded when using a telephone or screenshot when it is conducted by chatting. And the next is the findings that I want to explain is the first, the cultural changes based on student experience as K-pop fans. Based on my research, there are various changes of the participant as K-pop fans. 2 of 3 participants became K-pop fans since they were in elementary school, and 1 of them became K-pop fans in high school. Therefore, they have been interested with K-pop because of the music, dance, style, and the K-pop idols. They are also affected by their social life, which is majority as K-pop fans. However, being K-pop fans among their social lives in the school days was a trend that everyone followed. Then they began to follow the development of information from social media about K-pop and began to get along with fellow K-pop fans. For example, the following is the description of above explanation. Here we go. I have been a K-pop fan since elementary school, even making me so fond of K-pop idols. I even follow the style of dressing like Sonyeonside, or SNSD, Girls' Generation Taeyeon, wearing oversized clothes, sneakers, and coats. They even do something like that, like their lifestyle and their fashion. And the next is the student response to cultural changes in becoming K-pop fans. They assume that the change that occur in music tastes are common among K-pop fans, so they think as K-pop fans, if there is something cultural changes that happen in their life, it could be categorized as a normal things. However, the participant agreed that many people think that K-pop fans are too obsessed, but they don't care about it because the changes that occur in themselves are only limited to their taste in music and style of dress. For example, like the statement from one of the participants, she said like this: as a K-pop fan, I'm still at the reasonable stage in admiring them. Wherever though I like K-pop music, like almost every day, I always watch icons music videos, but on the other hand, I still like Indonesian music. And then the last findings is the student strategies to maintain their own culture as Indonesian. Um, Through the change, the students as K-pop fans, even though they really like K-pop music, but they still listen to Indonesian music and enjoy traditional Indonesian dance as a way to preserve their original culture. Indonesian K-pop fans also give advice to fellow K-pop fans, even though we like K-pop music, but we also need to be proud of our own music. For example, like the statement from one of the participants. Even though I'm a fan of K-pop, but I also like Indonesian music while still listening to Indonesian music. And the next is the discussions that I would like to explain is the first, the cultural changes based on students' experience as K-pop fans. This study shows about the culture changes among multicultural Indonesian K-pop fans. 2 of them became K-pop fans since they were in elementary school. They have been interested with K-pop caused by the music, dance style, and the K-pop idol. Being K-pop fans among their social life in the school days was a trend that everyone followed. Not just that, they mentioned about began to follow the way of dressing from their favorite idols. And the changes that happened to them as K-pop fans were more in the taste of music and style of dressing. And then the next is the perception of multicultural students in Indonesia towards the cultural changes in becoming K-pop fans. They assume that the changes that occur in music styles and style of dressing are common or normal among K-pop fans. In fact, they consider the K-pop songs they admire as an encouragement in their lives. Through the changes, of course, the student as a K-pop fans, even though they really like K-pop music, but they still listen to Indonesian music and enjoy traditional Indonesian dance. And the last is the students' strategies to maintain their own culture as Indonesian, because as I mentioned before, they still like Indonesian music, and one of them is still dancing for Indonesian traditional dance. So this is one of the strategies of them to preserve or and maintain their own culture as Indonesia. And then the last is the conclusion. The conclusion is in here. I would like to tell you that this study has um, surveyed that in terms of cultural changes among K-pop fans, K-pop is a genre of music that is much loved in Indonesia and has even become a trend. If you look broadly, K-pop attracts a lot of attention, especially from young people who like energetic music genres such as K-pop. K-pop becomes interesting because the music is always combined with English so that it is more easily accepted. And then also because of the choreography of the group itself, that makes mostly people love K-pop. And then also the popularity of K-pop is able to spread Korean culture almost all over the world. It's not wonder that now K-pop is the genre of music that is most loved. Based on the findings of this study, it is also recommended that even though as a K-pop fans who really like K-pop music, the most important things is not forget the original culture of our country. Although from the results of my study, I said that it doesn't matter if you are a K-pop fans who only likes the music but don't follow the style of dress that is not in accordance or it not fit with our own Indonesian culture. Admiring music is a normal thing that is important that we still have self-control in liking a cultural or trend without forgetting our original culture. In terms of the future research, quantitative approach might be applied so that more diverse experience could be captured. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. I hope you guys can understand about my presentation and stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye bye. 감사합니다.